craziest duck hunting day ever. The reason why I call it Alaska Barbarian duck hunting is it was just crazy. I mean, I no longer have a boat. I don't have a canoe. I don't have a dog. So I'm jumping ducks and I'm killing myself walking in this marsh. Now it's pretty hardcore, but it was even worse because South Central Alaska has been flooding and the entire duck marsh was flooded. So I was just, instead of just, you know, a few inches of water in some spots, I was up to my thighs a lot of the time wading through the water. And you know, I went 7 miles through that swamp like that to get this one duck. So yeah, it was hardcore, and I'm just jumping ducks. I'm trying to sneak up on them. It's still warm. It's still warm. The ducks aren't coming through yet. They're only local ducks there. There was a handful of local ducks. I probably saw 20 or 30 ducks. Nothing migrating. So when the ducks and geese come through that are migrating, that place will be pretty busy. But yeah, nothing right now. I also call it Alaska Barbarian duck hunting because us Alaska men are basically barbarians. I mean, God, we're not used to seeing women for once. I mean, the ratio of women is really low here, so we get real nervous around women. We're not used to seeing them. We act like cavemen or chimpanzees when we see women. You know, it's bad up here in Alaska. But also, you know, a lot of Alaskans don't, you know, the price of living is really high here. It's hard to make ends meet, so a lot of guys hunt all the time to subsidize, you know, to help with the food, and it makes a big difference in the budget when you're getting game meat that you got cheaply. So we're like cavemen, barbarians in that sense too. Oh, meat. But anyways, really crazy. I was hoping to do a cast and blast episode like last year when I went out with Felton and he fell in the hole and came up to here with the water holding the camera up. But the field was so flooded this time that you couldn't even tell where any salmon were. There were some fish in the field. Last year it flooded slightly and salmon made their way into the duck field, which was crazy. But this time it was just completely flooded. I would have got more ducks if it wasn't for those dang swans, those giant trumpeter swans. Their heads are like 3 feet above the water, and I was sneaking up on a group of ducks and they just start honking. They can see me coming a mile away and they alert their little duck buddies. And if it wasn't for those swans, I would be able to get right on the edge and jump up and get those ducks. But as it was, I just got that one mallard hen, and it was weird. She just swam right at me. Probably not a lot of people out there because it's so flooded. They stick to the main waterways. But the craziest thing about Alaska duck hunting, this is why it's kind of barbarian duck hunting too, because it's not like duck hunting in Oklahoma or Nebraska. I actually think Oklahoma or Nebraska would be funner, a lot funner, because it's classic duck hunting. You know, one of my buddies from Oklahoma came up here and went across the inlet, and he's like, those mallards don't respond to calls. He was doing his, you know, he's a really expert duck hunter. He's doing his calls, and they would just ignore him, you know, fly right by. I have seen guys call them in, though, that in some areas they do respond well to calls, but and then decoys, they respond well to decoys, but it's different. Not only that, the place that I hunt at, it's a duck marsh, but it's bordering a forested mountain, and the area is shared by ducks, bald eagles, ravens, moose, bears, wolves, coyotes. It's just insane. You know, that's where I shot at that coyote last year too, right at my duck hunting spot. I've seen a white wolf up on the cliff just staring at me when I was out there duck hunting. It's just insane. And today something crazy happened. So I came upon this little creek, the little creek I cross, and there was some spawned out silver salmon ready to die. They had swam up this teeny little creek and they were just trapped there. They were swimming around. And I was like, oh, awesome. I went and checked it out, got some footage. It was like really cool. I wondered how they could spawn in a crummy, glacial, murky slough. But then now I realize that they must go up these freshwater creeks where there's actual rocks to spawn, and they spawn. So I was like, oh, awesome. Then I walked 5 more feet, and there was one of those salmon sitting on the ground with its head bit off by a grizzly bear, and it was fresh. And so I freaked out. My adrenaline started going. I got the shotgun out, kicking myself for not bringing the 10mm or the 500, but I felt pretty safe because a lot of people have actually killed grizzlies with birdshot up close when they're out duck hunting. You do it from 20 feet away, you're just going to piss it off. But there's so much energy that if a grizzly comes up to you and you get a shot off with birdshot out of a 12 gauge up close, you're going to put a big crater in its head. So I was feeling pretty good, but it was still scary. I mean, that was a fresh salmon eaten by a grizzly bear. So there you go. Barbarian duck hunting 2017. Hope to get some more ducks. I'm going out hopefully pretty soon with Chuke with Alaskan Ballistics. It's pretty cool. Some of us Alaskan gun YouTube channels are starting to unite and collaborate. Do It Right is going to hang out with us too. There's Fisherman Jake AK. But anyways, there's not a lot of Alaska gun channels. So it's pretty interesting. Check those channels out. But yeah, we're kind of forming our own little community here, so it's kind of neat. But thanks, guys. Please like and subscribe. And it's Chuke, your friend in the field.
Okay.
You can't get there.
You just got one?
I just got one. It scared the others off. They backed up. There were 5 right there. And when I got that one, scared the others off. I thought it I didn't even get one.
Wow. Where'd they fly off to?
Way over there.
Crazy.
Way out that way. This is where we're duck hunting, in these swamps. Alright? It just doesn't do any justice out here.
It's nice.
I don't have the kill on camera. I snuck to the backside of the island. First Chuke went over to the backside, didn't see anything. I went to the other side. He went over to where we thought they were calling from. The ducks were calling back. And I went to the other side just to see if anything was over there, and dadgummit if I didn't get one. I was trying to put Chuke on some birds here. anyway, it's a good little duck hunting area out in here. We got one here. We got one duck. We got one antsy dog that wants to eat the duck. We got one nice sized mallard, nice drake. Yep. All right. Took Maggie a while to retrieve it. That's her worst retrieve ever. All right. She just didn't see where it was and didn't know where to go, and that was that. So anyway, Chuke from Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. You want to say anything?
Chuke and Chuck, shooting birds.
There we go. Chuck from Alaskan Ballistics. Make sure you subscribe to both our channels.